Fourthly, afflictions work for good to the godly, as they are destructive to sin. Sin is the mother. Affliction is the daughter. The daughter helps to destroy the mother. Sin is like the tree which breeds the worm, and affliction is like the worm that eats the tree. There is much corruption in the best heart. Affliction does, by degrees, work it out, as the fire works out the dross from the gold. The Lord did this to purge away his sin. Isaiah 37, verse 9. What if we have more of the rough vial, if we have less rust? Afflictions carry away nothing but the dross of sin. If a physician should say to a patient, "Your body is distempered and full of bad humors, which must be cleared out, or you will die. But I will prescribe physic, which, though it may make you sick, yet it will carry away the dregs of your disease and save your life," would not this be for the good of the patient? Afflictions are the medicine which God uses to carry off our spiritual diseases. They cure the swelling of pride, the fever of lust, the cancer of covetousness. Do they not then work for good? Fifthly, afflictions work for good, as they are the means of loosening our hearts from the world. When you dig away the earth from the root of a tree, it is to loosen the tree from the earth. Just so, God digs away our earthly comforts to loosen our hearts from the earth. A thorn grows up with every flower. God would have the world hang as a loose tooth, which, being twitched away, does not much trouble us. Is it not good to be weaned? The oldest saints need it. Why does the Lord break the conduit pipe, but that we may go to him, in whom are all our fresh springs? Psalm 87, verse 7. Sixthly, afflictions work for good, as they make way for comfort. In the valley of Achor is a door of hope. Hosea 2, verse 15. Achor signifies trouble. God sweetens outward pain with inward peace. Your sorrow shall be turned into joy. John 16, verse 20. Here is the water turned into wine. After a bitter pill, God gives sugar. Paul had his prison songs. God's rod has honey at the end of it. The saints in affliction have had such sweet raptures of joy that they thought themselves in the borders of the heavenly Canaan. Seventhly, afflictions work for good, as they are a magnifying of us. What is man, that you should magnify him, and that you should visit him every morning? Job 7, verse 17. God does by affliction magnify us 3 ways. 1. In that he will condescend so low as to take notice of us. It is an honor that God will mind dust and ashes. It is a magnifying of us that God thinks us worthy to be smitten. God's not striking is a slighting. Why should you be stricken any more? Isaiah 1, verse 5. If you will go on in sin, take your course, sin yourselves into hell. 2. Afflictions also magnify us, as they are ensigns of glory, signs of sonship. If you endure chastening, God deals with you as with sons. Hebrews 12, verse 7. Every imprint of the rod is a badge of honor. 3. Afflictions tend to the magnifying of the saints, as they make them renowned in the world. Soldiers have never been so admired for their victories as the saints have been for their sufferings. The zeal and constancy of the martyrs in their trials have rendered them famous to posterity. How eminent was Job for his patience! God leaves his name upon record. You have heard of the patience of Job. James 5, verse 11. Job the sufferer was more renowned than Alexander the conqueror. Eighthly, Afflictions work for good, as they are the means of making us happy. Happy is the man whom God corrects. Job 5, verse 17. What politician or moralist ever placed happiness in afflictions? Job does. Happy is the man whom God corrects. It may be said, how do afflictions make us happy? We reply that, being sanctified, they bring us near to God. The moon in the full is furthest off from the sun. So are many further off from God in the full moon of prosperity. Afflictions bring them near to God. The magnet of mercy does not draw us so near to God as the cords of affliction. When Absalom set Joab's corn on fire, then he came running to Absalom. When God sets our worldly comforts on fire, then we run to him and make our peace with him. When the prodigal was pinched with need, then he returned to his father. When the dove could not find any rest for the sole of her foot, then she flew back to the ark. When God brings a deluge of affliction upon us, then we fly to the ark, Christ. Thus affliction makes us happy in bringing us nearer to God. Faith can make use of the waters of affliction to swim faster to Christ. Ninthly, afflictions work for good as they put to silence the wicked. How ready are they to asperse and calumniate the godly, that they serve God only for self-interest. Therefore, God will have his people endure sufferings for religion, that he may put a padlock on the lying lips of wicked men. When the atheists of the world see that God has a people who serve him not for a livery, but for love, this stops their mouths. The devil accused Job of hypocrisy, that he was a mercenary man. All his religion was made up of ends of gold and silver. Does Job serve God for naught? Have not you made a hedge about him? Well, says God, put forth your hand, touch his estate. Job 1, verse 9. The devil had no sooner received a commission, but he falls a breaking down Job's hedge. But still, Job worships God, and professes his faith in him. Though he slays me, yet will I trust in him. Job 13, verse 15. This silenced the devil himself. How it strikes a damp into wicked men when they see that the godly will keep close to God in a suffering condition, and that, when they lose all, they yet will hold fast their integrity. Tenthly, afflictions work for good as they make way for glory. Not that they merit glory, but they prepare for it. As plowing prepares the earth for a crop, so afflictions prepare and make us fit for glory. The painter lays his gold upon dark colors. So God first lays the dark colors of affliction, and then he lays the golden color of glory. The vessel is first seasoned before wine is poured into it. The vessels of mercy are first seasoned with affliction, and then the wine of glory is poured in. Thus we see afflictions are not harmful, but beneficial to the saints. We should not so much look at the evil of affliction as the good, not so much at the dark side of the cloud as the light. The worst that God does to his children is to whip them to heaven. Number 2, the evil of temptation is overruled for good to the godly. The evil of temptation works for good. Satan is called the tempter. He is ever lying in ambush. He is continually at work with one saint or another. The devil has his circuit that he walks every day. He is not yet fully cast into prison, but, like a prisoner that goes under bail, he walks about to tempt the saints. This is a great molestation to a child of God. Now, concerning Satan's temptations, there are 3 things to be considered. First, his method in tempting. Second, the extent of his power. Third, these temptations are overruled for good. First, Satan's method in tempting. Here take notice of two things. His violence in tempting, and so he is the red dragon. He labors to storm the castle of the heart. He throws in thoughts of blasphemy. He tempts to deny God. These are the fiery darts which he shoots, by which he would inflame the passions. Also, notice his subtlety in tempting, and so he is the old serpent. There are 5 chief subtleties the devil uses.